I'm a weird guy and I do weird things. And one of the strangest things that I do that makes me really stick out in today's society, I choose to like things. I like to enjoy myself. When I read a comic or a book or a movie, I want to like it. So, I know I'm not the only person who does this. There are a lot of people that do this, and so I'm not trying to make myself out as whatever, better than people or whatnot. But this whole outrage thing and the whole everybody getting upset about everything and everybody hating everything has just been kind of weird. And so anyway, Doug TenNapel wrote a blog post recently about how he liked the Solo movie, the Star Wars movie Han Solo. And his point was he almost didn't see it because everybody said how terrible it was and how much it was just awful and all these things. And he was like, you know what? Had that movie come out a couple years ago, it would have done fine. It would have done really well in the box office. He's like, Solo wasn't a bad movie. We are bad viewers. And the point that he made, which I thought was super interesting, was that we have everything as such a customizable delivery culture that we can kind of have everything delivered to us the way that we want it. And we kind of expect our media to be that way. And so, anyway, everyone is ripping everything apart that they see, that they hear, that they read, because it doesn't match their exact expectations. And it got me thinking, I used to go to the movies, I used to read books, I used to do stuff, and I would just be looking for ways to pick it apart. Because, and I don't know, I'm not going to pretend like I know why other people do this, but it kind of makes you feel kind of smart. It's kind of this idea of I could do better, that type of thing. But at the same time, I was paying money to not enjoy myself. And so a while ago, I made a choice to enjoy the movies I saw. It was just a simple choice. It's weird that it's a choice, but it is a choice. I can pick apart movies with the rest of them, but I can also enjoy the movies. Very seldom do I leave the theater upset or angry now that I've made that choice to just enjoy movies. Now, that doesn't mean that I think every movie is great or that I want to own it or watch it multiple times. And there are a lot of movies where I'm like, wow, that was really awful. But it's a pretty low bar. You've got to stoop pretty low, like Transformers 4 low, to get to the point where I'm like, that was a total waste of time. Because I intend to enjoy the movie. I intend to enjoy the comic. I intend to enjoy the book. The things, because if you're just gonna get upset about it because it doesn't meet your expectations or it doesn't do what you wanted it to do, then why spend the money? I don't understand it. And so there's a couple tricks to this. I do everything I can to avoid reading, watching, hearing, whatever, anything about the movies before they come out. If I see a trailer that interests me in a movie, that's the last thing that I try to consume. Obviously you're going to come across stuff, but that's the last thing I try to come across before I see the actual movie. If I'm like, oh, that movie looks dope, I'm going to go see that. Then I don't watch any more trailers. I don't read any spoilers. I don't read any YouTube videos that are trying to speculate on what's going to happen with this or that or the other thing. And the reason that I do this is because unmet expectations are one of the main things that cause disappointment, dissonance, anger, or whatever. Is if you expect something to go one way and it goes a different way, then that can cause bad feelings, reactions, emotions, whatever. In the meantime, though, if I go in just yeah, this is going to be awesome, I'm excited about it, or if I go in and I'm like, I kind of know what to expect with this movie, like Pacific Rim. As long as there's big giant robots punching big giant monsters, I'm going to be happy. That's the bar. I set the bar kind of low, play the expectations game. The other thing that I try to do is I try to take the movie or the book or the comic or whatever it is as it is, rather than compare it to my preconceived expectations. And so instead of coming in thinking like, I want it to be this, I hope that this happens, I come in like, okay, let's experience this thing as it is. Ready Player One is a great example of that. Jason Bourne, Jurassic Park. I loved these books. I really enjoyed these books. And I remember as a kid, I went and saw, not as a kid, but as a kid, I read the Jason Bourne trilogy, the actual trilogy, not the one where he was ghostwriting it under his name later or whatever. But like, those are phenomenally good books. And I remember seeing the movie, and I was so excited to see the movie. And the movie has absolutely nothing to do with the book. Nothing to do with the book. I mean, the only thing that's relatively close is that there's a dude named Jason Bourne in it. There's an organization named Treadstone. And that's it. And so that's when I started to begin to like, that was actually a legitimately good movie. But I'm upset that it wasn't like the book. And I realized that I went in with preconceived notions. And so that's where I started this trick. Where if I have preconceived notions of a thing because of a prior text, whether it's a book or whatever, then I go and watch that movie or read that book or whatever it is on its own, and I rename it. And so in my mind, in my headcanon, there are no such things as Jason Bourne movies. There's Sniper Guy movies. And Sniper Guy is an excellent series of movies, except for the one that kind of went super weird and didn't end and was just terrible. But Sniper Guy is really a great movie, because if I call it Jason Bourne, then I'm like, yeah, but it's not really like that at all. And so if I just call it Sniper Guy, it's fun. It's an action flick. It's well done. The cinematography was kind of groundbreaking at the time. The way they did it was really entertaining. So I found a way to kind of remove my preconceived expectations so that I can enjoy the thing for what it is. I also try to avoid picking things apart and looking for stuff that bugs me during the first viewing. Sometimes it's really super hard to do because there are things that kind of take you out of it or whatever. But it's got to be a really terrible movie to bug me at this point, because I've decided to enjoy stuff that I pay for. I also enjoy discussing the movie afterwards. And those channels that rip movies apart, they're like fun to watch, like after I've enjoyed the movie. It's a weird phenomenon, though, this idea of like, let's all get together and say, what's wrong with this popular thing? I wonder what it is about that kind of collective catharsis of everybody throwing rocks at the powerful people and like, hey, look how smart I am. Look how the pros screwed this up and I could have done better. And even if we're often very right in our criticisms, I think we're missing something that's really important. It's always easy to identify the faults of a thing after it's been made. That's really easy. That doesn't take that much skill. But it's actually really hard to make a thing. And it's even harder to make a really good thing. And so this whole concept of like, hey, look, there's giant plot holes and this type of thing and that type of thing. It's like, yeah, that's true and you're not wrong. But like, being a critic in the stands is nothing like being a gladiator in the ring. And there's just a big difference. And so people who don't know what they're doing, for example, they'll often look at something like that's designed really well and it looks simple, and they conflate simple with easy. And the problem is that the genius of simple is that everybody gets it and everybody feels like, oh, wow, I totally could do that, right? That's awesome. It's so simple. It's so straightforward. It's so easy, right? But actually, even though everybody understands it, very few people could have gotten to that point. And so making something effortless is super hard and takes a lot of talent. And making something really good is actually really rare and really difficult. Being able to point flaws and poke holes in things that have already been made, that's not that hard and it's not that impressive. So knowing all this, I try to keep that in mind when I'm criticizing a thing. I might be right, but crits are easy and making things is hard. So anyway, just wanted to talk about that for a minute. But having said that, you can check out stuff that I've made and poke all the holes in it that you want. Feel free. That's cool. But yeah, I'm making stuff, and you can check it out at corykerr.com. And you have seen me inking this spread, which kind of kicked my butt a little bit. It was a rough one. There's got to be a better way to do forest than drawing every tree in the forest. I don't know what I was doing there, but anyway, I think it turned out all right. But now that it's made, I can look at it and see the flaws, and I'm sure that you guys can too, which is fine. That's totally cool. And I want to say this. I don't care if you really legitimately enjoy ripping something to shreds and that's fun for you, good on you. Go ahead, right? I mean, leave the creators of that thing alone. Like, don't go after them and call them out and stuff like that. That's just petty and weird and cruel. But like, yeah, you don't have to like everything. I don't care what you do. I'm just saying, for me, I find more happiness and more satisfaction in feeling like I got my money's worth than otherwise feeling like I got, taken for a ride and whatever. And so this is all just to kind of explain the way that I view things, not to say that this is the right way to view everything, right? So anyway, what do you guys think? In the comments, let me know. Do you enjoy ripping things apart? Is that fun? Is it just something that you can't help because you're just so frustrated because you love something so much that when it's depicted incorrectly, it just eats at you and bothers you? Or, do you choose to like things as well and just, take it as it is? Or you kind of either or, and it really depends on the experience. I'm curious whether I'm alone in this or whether you guys do the same. I don't know. In any case, we'll see you guys later. Hit that like button, that thumbs up, or hit the thumbs down if you think I'm an idiot. Do it. Thumbs down. It's all right. It's all cool. And if you want to get notified, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. And if you didn't, they're all kind of like this, so don't subscribe. But we'll catch you guys later. I'm out.